Hochingakenga Fosta Horiasta Beelzebub Mufasa. That's right, folks. The chanting begins. The mist is in the air. A strange fog encapsulates the room. A ritual is underfoot. Welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel Ritual Festival. Alright, so wacky infants aside, what is the Ritual Festival? Well, it's pretty simple. The Ritual Festival is an event happening in Master Duel that is focused on the art of summoning ritual monsters, which is one of the oldest monster types in the game. It's one of the first special monster types outside of fusions and normal monsters and effect monsters. Very old archetype that originally just did not work that well. It's gotten better over the years, though. Basically, what this event wants you to do is it's got its own little unique ban list, and it wants you to play decks around ritual monsters and cards that support them. And for this event, if you're like me and you just started the game and you don't really have any cards, they give you special loner decks. Outside of these loner decks, they also have the ability to get rewards. The more you win, the more rewards you get. Is all you really gotta know. But let's go ahead and look at these loner decks and give you a brief description of what they do. The first one they allow you to loan out is this deck people call the Hungry Burger deck, because it features this really bad ritual monster from a long time ago. The main reason you like it is because its ritual spell is a recipe, and that's the entire deck. It's a recipe deck essentially. It's a very hard to explain deck that even I don't fully understand, that uses like French stuff and like chefs from across time and space to like do some sort of like demonic cooking. I don't really know. The only one thing I know is that some of these cards are kind of hot, and that's about it. It's a complicated deck that I don't even like fully understand, so don't even ask me how this works. You might see our opponents playing it, but don't ask me what they're doing because I don't know half the frickin' time. The other deck, and by far the more popular deck, is the White Dragon of Chaos, which features the oldest flagship monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Blue Eyes White Dragon. This card needs no introduction. It's been in the anime, it's been in the memes, it's been in fan art, it's been in inappropriate fan art. The thing is, Blue Eyes White Dragon takes the stage, because this deck allows you to ritual summon using Blue Eyes to summon a new, more powerful Blue Eyes monster. The Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, which looks kinda like a demon, but is more of a dragon somehow. It's this big chunky boy that's incredibly hard to remove, does obnoxious amounts of damage to defense position monsters, and has 4,000 attack, which is just bonkers. And it is a very powerful deck that a lot of people are trying in this event. But not us. No, the deck we're trying is a deck that honestly fits more of my more rogue style, my more it's a deck based off of something that I'm actually interested in: comic books. Introducing the Libromancers. They are a bunch of like humans. I don't really know how this works, but they've got like alter egos that they can like morph into that are like superheroes. You got like Geek Boy here, you got like Magic Girl who wants to just be a magical girl. You got Libromancer Fire, which is like this jock that stands up for Geek Boy. You got Libromancer Agent, which is like their kind of creepy teacher who looks like a Fatui agent for some reason, but whatever. And then the things that they ritual summon themselves into, which is their superhero versions, which the Geek Boy turns into the Fire Starter, because as you can see, they kind of like their levels kind of tell you what they're supposed to get out. Geek Boy gets out this. Mista Girl is brought out by Magic Girl, and she's got all sorts of crazy abilities, but like the main two we want to focus on are the Doom Broker, which is the teacher's alter ego, which is an absolutely wacky card that can set traps from your deck, and if it deals combat damage to your opponent, you can just take any one of their monsters and just put it back in the deck and be like, see you later, sucko. I don't know what sucko is, but apparently that's a word. And the main card that the deck wants to focus on is the Libromancer Fire Burst, which is this card. If you ritual summon it by using monsters in the field, it can't be destroyed by battle, and any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled, which is obnoxious when you think that, hey, this monster can attack for 5,600 damage if it direct attacks. And on top of that, it can make 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, so it can take care of 2 things at once, 1 for each fist. And when it declares an attack, you can banish your Libromancer ritual monster to your graveyard to make him even bigger, to help him beat down other bigger cards and just deal more damage to your opponents. But honestly, the main one to focus on is Libromancer Doombroker. The amount of control this guy gives you is insane. Fireburst is just your big finisher. Outside of that, we've got all sorts of control nonsense. Harpy's Feather Duster. You got Call to the Grave, which is a great way to, like, counter and negate what your opponent is doing. You've got Forbidden Droplet to negate abilities. My bad, I mean negate multiple abilities at once by discarding cards. You've got their Field Spell, which is like a really big crazy card which you're going to see in action here in a minute as we get these games started. We got pre-preparation rights to help get our ritual stuff out of the deck. We've got our Libromancer Realize, which is kind of a okay card. No one really cares about it. The main cards you want to focus on are Doombroker, Fire Burst, First Appearance, and the Libromancer Origin Story. And the traps are kind of good, in my opinion. The only 2 good ones are Intervention and Displaced, which you'll see in action as we play. I'm just trying to give you a brief deck description. I don't even remember what half these Link monsters do, so we're just going to ignore them as we play. Anyways, that is our 3 decks for our ritual event, and as I've already spoiled, we have played a few games with this new Libromancer deck, and I got a few replays as I discover what this archetype does, because hey, I'm an old Yu-Gi-Oh player and I've always wanted a ritual deck that's kind of decent. Without further ado, let's get into these games and see if we can be a superhero, just like out of a comic book. Alright, so this game is one of the first games that I actually played featuring the Libromancer deck, and you're going to see me trying to understand what exactly to do with this deck and struggling. I by no means played this deck good or properly. I just kind of fumble and just play it how it feels good, kind of good to play. So we're going to start off here with them going first, and they are playing the Blue Eyes deck, using Dragon Shrine to put the White Stone of Ancients into the graveyard. What they should do, and I know this from seeing this a few times, is they should use that to put Blue Eyes in their graveyard, and then put the White Stone of Ancients, because during the end phase, if it's put into the graveyard because it was sent there this turn by some sort of card effect, you can special summon a Blue Eyes from your deck, which this basically allows you to thin out this card to get it out faster. It allows, what I'm trying to say is, you thin your deck by 2 cards and you still get your crazy summon off with this. So this is a minor misplay by my opponent, but who cares? Oh, look at that White Big King, he's cooking. Let him cook those sweet potatoes. Anyways, so with Dragon Shrine they play that, and then they're going to be playing the Strength and Unity card, which, if they ritual summon their nonsense, they can banish stuff in our graveyard, and they can send it to the graveyard and add something that's a normal monster level 7 or higher from their graveyard to their hand. They also play the Melody of Awakening. And so them discard a card and add 2 dragon monsters with 3,000 attack or more and 2,500 defense or less from the deck to their hand. And they're going to be getting Blue Eyes. What a shock. And with that, their White Stone of Ancients summons a Blue Eyes from their deck. It's not a crazy turn, but hey, they've got a cool trap to try to defend themselves with. And automatically, we've got kind of a few problems. Blue Eyes White Dragon has no abilities, but is a chunky boy. So I'm like, alright, what do I want to do here? Well, the Libromancer base monsters have this cool ability where they can special summon themselves by revealing a ritual monster from your hand. And also, the First Appearance Field Spell allows us to add any Libromancer monster from our deck to our hand. But the first thing we're going to be doing here is playing Fire. We're going to be revealing Fire Starter, which is going to put the Doombroker in our hands. We're going to reveal Geek Boy, revealing the same card, to put this spell into our hand, which is our Libromancer Origin Story. So now we got the setup here. We got our Field Spell, which is going to help us get another card out of our deck and allow us to ritual summon without a ritual, which is good because we can't do that right now because we didn't bring the ritual. We don't have it in our hand, and this is going to pump up our cards even more and allow us to get rid of our opponent's set nonsense. So we play the first appearance, grabbing our Fire Burst, our big first card, our big face card. Libromancer Origin Story sets the Displacer. And now, using Manju and Geek Boy, we will ritual summon the powerful Fire Burst. Now, this is also a misplay. The first one you want to play is Libromancer Doombroker. I should have used Firestarter and Geek Boy to make Doombroker and then get another card from the deck onto the battlefield. This was just a misplay. I thought, since this was like the first game I played with this deck, that I should be playing Fire Burst first, like an idiot. But by ritual summoning our big Fire Burst, we get rid of their card, which is Chaos form, which allows them to get their Chaos Max Dragon. So we stopped that, which was pretty nice. I don't know why they didn't use it, but they didn't. So Libromancer first appearance allows us to ritual summon with it, which I guess is twice per turn. And now we're gonna get the Doombroker. I don't really know how I ritual summon with it, but I did. Anyways, so we're gonna get our other face down card, which is the Intervention. The one thing I will say about this loader deck that I really don't like is that it only has one of each of the traps. I really feel like you want more with just how powerful Doombroker can be and how often you want to be playing it. But anyways, my opponent has very low life points at this rate. I'm like, alright, I got your number. And then they use Strength and Unity, and I'm like, we're not doing that nonsense. I don't want you to be playing any more cards. I'm going to bounce a Ritual Monster to my hand and negate your abilities. I'm going to bounce the Doombroker, which I'm going to try to summon next turn again to get more nonsense, because I don't realize at the time I don't have that many. But we bring back the Fire. Fire is going to fetch us up another Doombroker, which we're going to use to ritual summon the other Doombroker with first appearance. They're going to be doing some nonsense with their cards to add that Blue Eyes back to their hand and then end their turn. Neither one of us really knows what we're doing, and it's very apparent. And then they give up because they realize the next turn's death. And White Baking has finished cooking. Right. Game number 2 is getting underway. Can I get any better with this Libromancer deck? Let's find out. Alrighty. This hand sucks. This hand is hot garbage. There ain't a single ritual monster we can play, but ooh, we do have the origin story in the first appearance. And we can use our preparation to get nonsense from our deck. So we have 2 searches active, but the first thing they're going to be doing is using the crazy Hunger Burger deck. I'm not even going to explain what's happening, because they're going to ritual summon a monster with another monster, and I believe they're summoning the exact same thing. So they're going to play the Confidence de Nouvelles, which allows them to destroy any spell or trap on the field, which I don't think they meant to do. I think they were also trying to figure out how this deck works, because they just got rid of their field spell. They play Manju of 10,000 Hands to get a ritual monster from their deck into their hand. Again, well, both are just kind of fumbling about, but the first thing I'm going to be doing is getting the pre-preparation of Lights to get my ritual spell, and also my Firestarter, which I think was a mistake in hindsight, but don't mind me. I'm going to use the Libromancer Fire. What I should have done is I should have probably grabbed another Doombroker or the Fire Burst himself. I don't really have a reason to grab Firestarter. I mean, because I can't get to Fire Burst, so I can't really get value out of it, but I'm like, whatever, who cares? We use that to get this trap onto the field. We special summon Libromancer Fire yet again, grabbing another Doombroker. We're going to use the Fire and the Firestarter to summon the Doombroker. You're doomed, buddy. We're going to get our other trap, and now we are nice and set up to mess up our opponent's nonsense. Although they do some nonsense in response, and then they ritual summon a monster of their own and draw a card out of it. And I'm like, yo, what the heck? Now, I'm not quite sure why I can attack my opponent directly here. Special summons a card activated, or when a monster is targeted for an attack, you contribute it. Special summon it. I don't really know why I can attack here. I'm going over cards, and because they had cards, I don't really know why I could automatically attack their life points, but I was able to, which allowed us to shuffle their card back into the deck. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out why I could attack them directly. But then they Feather Dusted me, and I'm like, uh-oh. If they Feather Dusted me, I'm going to lose my field spell and my origin story. And I'm like, no. I'm intervening in this. We send the Doombroker back to our hand to negate. And then they use a quick play from their hand, because it is their turn. They can do that. They choose a Pendulum Monster of the Nouvelles and a Pedestal Pendulum Monster from their hand, deck, or extra deck, and special summon both monsters. Basically, they're using this to special summon 2 monsters. This is the Culinary Confrontation. They summon from the extra deck this thing, and then they give me this monster? I guess their plan is to attack it. I'm not sure, but they can, and then they Feather Dust me, and I and then I summon Libromancer Fire, which allows us to get another ritual monster from our deck, which is going to be Fire Burst, I believe, in this instance. Right? Yeah, it's Fire Burst. There he is. That's everybody's favorite boy. They're going to give their monster a little bit more attack to kill our fire. Boo-hoo, we still have a monster we can use to get Fire Burst, which they're just not going to see this part coming. Getting this Forbidden Droplet in hand. I probably should have used it and discarded something I didn't need, like this extra Foolish Burial to negate this thing's effects. Just in case, you never know. We're going to use this pre-preparation of rights to get our other ritual and our other Fire Burst, and now we can use our ritual to use one Fire Burst to summon another, and then use this to use one Doombroker to summon the other, and try to wrap this game up. Actually, no, we use the card from the field and our Doombroker because I can read cards. Remember, if you use something from the field to ritual summon it, that's how you get his effects to let him attack twice. It can't be destroyed by battle, and any battle damage he does is doubled. And I use this to try to get rid of their card, and they use this, and they're just going to be putting this in the Pendulum Zone, and I'm like, alright, I'm a Forbidden Drop of this, because I want you to have less attack, so when I swing at you, I can just deal a bunch of nonsensical damage, because I have a lot of attack anyways, and all of my damage is going to be duplad. And I got rid of their crazy trap card, which was Chef's Special Recipe, which allows them to negate my stuff, as long as they have a ritual monster. Gonna use this to ritual summon the Doombroker, using the other Fire Burst. We got to the same line that we would have earlier, but this can attack and do nonsense damage. So he's going to attack it, a bigger bonus, whatcha, for 5,500 damage. And that is the potential of this deck, as Whitebait King has yet again cooked. Right. 2 duels down, and we are on to the next one with this loner deck. And the fact that they don't have any sleeves also lets us know that they're probably going to be doing a loner deck. We're going first this time, playing our origin story, which sets our Libromancer first appearance from the deck to the field, which is a misplay because I didn't see this one in hand. I should not have grabbed that. I just did not see it in my hand. But we get the first appearance, which allows us to to put our fire in our hand, revealing our Mystic Girl to play our fire, to add our Doombroker. Using the field spell to ritual summon the Doombroker. Shaka-zing! Which lets us set a card, which allows us to establish a nice set of control. We also have the Forbidden Droplet to negate effects. So I feel like we've got a nice setup here on the first turn. It allows us to control our opponent pretty nicely. Dragon Shrine is going to, I believe, do the same. Oh yeah, they do the thing I said the first game with Blue Eyes, which was they put Blue Eyes in, which then put a white stone in. And now they are using the, what's this thing? Alternative Dragon. The alternative Blue Eyes White Dragon. They special summon it by revealing a Blue Eyes. You can only special it once per turn this way. Its name becomes Blue Eyes when it's on the field or in the graveyard, and once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls and just flat out destroy it, but it can't attack if you do that. And they're going to be trading in that Blue Eyes they use to summon the alternative dragon to draw 2 cards and play a Dictator of D, which is like Lord of D, but smaller, I guess. I don't really know. Weird how they keep rotating the art of old cards to be like newer. It's nice. It makes older players like me feel like, hey, I remember that, but Also kind of weird. While you control the blue eyes, you can choose the attack targets for your opponent's attacks. You can only use each of the following effects from Dictator of D once per turn. You can send a blue eyes from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. You can discard one blue eyes or one card that mentions it and targets a blue eyes from your graveyard and special summon it. Which they don't do, but because as soon as they special summon it, I use the Droplet, because I read this and I was like, special summon blue eyes? No thank you. And because Droplet reduced both of their monsters' attack by half, they can't use this thing to do some attacking nonsense, and they can't get another blue eyes and extend their plays, so they just end their turn. But they do get another blue eyes, and I'm like, oh great, well, I'm gonna try to negate that too by using Libromancer, even though my hand is full of bricks, and because I don't have anything. Except now I have a ritual monster that is a brick. But wait, I use this to summon the Libromancer Fire. I totally remember this game, don't laugh at me. Anyways, the trap puts Doombroker back in our hand and special summons the fire from the graveyard, which because it was special summoned activates its ability, which allows us to get another Doombroker. Their monster attack goes back up. We have one called by the grave in case we need it. We're going to be using the field spell to use one Doombroker to summon the other Doombroker. I'm back, son! And he's going to be a little bit bigger because of the origin story. Allows us to set our displaced card. We're going to be attacking, but because of their Dominator or Dictator of D, they allow us to just... They force us to attack Dictator of D, but whenever we do battle damage, we just get to shuffle something away anyways. So, basically, they took more damage for no reason. Fire is going to go in and get the second attack off, and now we have another set up here. We can use our Displaced to basically steal our opponent's card and then put it back into their hand at the end of the turn. We have the Call by the Grave to negate some more of their nonsense in case they try to do something like that. Now, they've taken this card from the grave and banished it to add a blue eyes, and I'm like, look, that ain't happening. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to take this blue eyes from this graveyard and put it back in their hand with the White Stone of Ancients. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We're pointing the fingy at you. Give them the finger. Pow! Banishing their blue eyes to the banish zone so they cannot get it back to their hand. And then they play Dragon Shrine anyways. And then they put blue eyes into their graveyard. They can't find the other White Stone. And the game is over because they got out-controlled. Because this deck is actually kind of cracked. And yet again, as you can see in the faded image, White Bay King has yet again cooked. Alright, for our last game featuring Libromancers, we're going to see something that is not a loner deck that we are playing against. I believe this should be the game against the deck that is not a loner deck. They're playing first, and they're playing... Yes, this is that deck indeed. They're playing Disciple of Nephthys. They are playing a deck based off of the Nephthys monsters, which I don't really understand, but whatevs. And they're going to be using the Rebirth of Nephthys to ritual summon a monster using the Disciple. They're going to be getting the Conductor of Nephthys. Hey, remember how our deck has this thing where we take our regular monsters and turn them into ritual monsters? It looks like this deck does the same thing. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. If this card is ritual summoned, you can special summon one Nephthys ritual monster from your hand or deck except the Conductor of Nephthys. If this card is tributed or destroyed by a Nephthys card effect, you can activate its effect. During this next standby phase, destroy 3 Nephthys cards except ritual monsters, 1 each from your hand, deck, and field. So basically this Nephthys deck likes to summon bigger monsters and then destroy them for all sorts of wacky effects. And with that ritual summon of that, they can ritual summon their bigger, scarier monster, the Cerulean Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, which is a very pretty card, which is actually a reference to an older card called the Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, which allows you to bounce cards back to your opponent's hand if I remember the effect correctly, but I probably don't, so don't quote me on that. Anyways, the Cerulean Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys can be ritual summoned with its card, and you can only use each of the following effects of the Cerulean Phoenix once per turn. During your main phase, you can destroy Nephthys cards in your hand or face up on the field, then destroy an equal number of monsters your opponent controls, which they can't do because it's literally their first turn of the game, and I haven't done anything yet. During your standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a battle or a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it from the graveyard to the field. Then they're going to use this card over here to almost face up on the field. This counts as a wind attribute, which I believe this is their normal summon. Wait, no. During your main phase, you can normal or special summon a winged beast monster. If you normal or special summon, which a ritual summon is a special summon, it allows them to immediately play them from their hand. Then after it resolves, normal summon a Sea Morg monster. So basically, they're doing wind shenanigans with Sea Morg and Nephthys monsters. They just put something in their graveyard. The Sea Morg of Darkness, which that is a scary ass looking card. They did another thing. What did they just do? They played Elbor's The Sacred Lands. I missed it. Oh, they're link summoning with the 3 monsters they just made for Nephthys, the Sacred Flame, which is also in our link deck, which I discovered through this game. Nephthys, the Sacred Flame, is the phoenix brought back as a bigger and more on fire bird. When it's in the extra zone, monsters your opponent controls cannot target Nephthys monsters in the main monster zones, which it's not in the main monster zone, it's in the extra. It gains effects based on the number of virtual monsters used for its link summon. So if it's 1, it can't be destroyed by battle. 2, it can't be destroyed by card effects and gains a bunch of attack. And if it's 3 virtual monsters, neither player can target this card with effects and it gains another 1200 attack. So the more virtual monsters you use, the bigger this big ol' fire chicken gets. But they only use 2, so I can't destroy it by card effects and it can't be destroyed by battle. So I'm like, what do I do here? First thing we're going to be doing is using Libromancer Fire. Special summoning him by revealing the Broker to get Geek Boy, which we're also going to use to summon by revealing the Doom Broker, and then they use the frickin' Infinite Impermanence, which is a very annoying card that's also very good. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Then, if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of the turn, all of the spell and trap cards in this column are negated. If you control no monsters, you can activate this card from your hand, but they played it from the field, so they set it, and now everything in this column that is a spell or trap can't be used, and they're also negating my ability to try to find my field spell, which is what I was going for with Geek Boy. So I was like, alright, fair is fair. So I can't do anything with that, but have you heard of Manju of the 10,000 Hands? He allows me to get any ritual monster or ritual spell from my deck to my hand. I'm gonna grab my Libromancer Bonded, and I'm gonna use the agent from my hand to summon his alternate identity, the Doom Broker. I'm back, baby! And we're gonna use his ability to set the Libromancer displaced. Now, remember, it only has the first 2 effects right now, so it can't be destroyed by battle and it can't be destroyed by card effects, but it can be returned to the hand and also taken control of, because I can still target it. I just can't get rid of it with battle or card effects. I can't destroy it, I should say. So on their turn, I basically just wait until I am allowed to activate my trap. So they go to battle phase and they end it. I don't really know why. On their end phase, though, I activate the Libromancer displaced, and I use this to bounce back Geek Boy, take their Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys on my field. This is not a destroy effect, and then instead of going back to their field, it goes back to their extra attack. So everything they did was for literally no reason. And now we're just going to clean up the game from here. We're using Geek Boy, revealing the Mista Girl, to grab our field spell. The field spell is going to grab Fire Burst. We're going to ritual summon with the field spell using Geek Boy and the Mista Girl. Just in case I read the cards wrong. Fire Burst is going to come out and do an obnoxious amount of damage in a single go. We're going to set something. Oh, hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute, sports fans. If this card is ritual summoned... Well, no, it's once per turn to set something. And that's what I did. I used its ability once per turn. And then Fire Burst is 6,000 damage, and Doom Broker finishes the game off. And that is how you deal with a big card that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. You just steal it and then throw it back in their extra deck and go, them out, GG. You have it. As you can see, these loner decks are actually really, really crazy. I don't know the power level of the Hungry Burger deck, but I know that the White Dragon deck is very scary, just thanks to the fact that Chaos Max is insane, and the Libromancer deck can also hold its own in the event. I do definitely want this deck to have a little bit bit of a rework in the future. I do think only having one of each of the traps is obnoxiously bad. Intervention and Displace should be at least 2 or 3s in this deck. You could cut out a pre-preparation of rights for another one of these, and honestly, you could probably cut out one of the origin stories too from one of these, because origin story is good, but it's not that good. Anyways, yeah, that's the ritual event featuring one of the loner decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Overall, I've had a lot of fun with this so far. Being able to use a monster type that I honestly thought 12 years ago was just really bad, and get to showcase just what you can do with it is a really fun little concept, and it's a great way to get people to want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. It's something fresh and different, which, especially after not playing for 12 years, is very exciting. Overall, I think this event is great, and I highly recommend you try it out yourself, and hopefully my replays have shown you just how wacky these loner decks can be. They're actually not that bad in my experience. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.